Okay. Hmm. Yeah.
To have a platform, to have a kind of platform which allows every kind of opinion to be discussed, but discussed in a very polite way, in a very intellectual way, where the restriction, only restriction which we can make on the speaker is to understand the scope and extent and also the limits available in Article 19 of the Constitution of India, which provides certain kinds of limits on freedom of expression also. So the Constitution gives us freedom of expression, but at the same time says that please kindly don't provoke others, don't make a talk which goes against the public interest or public morality, something like that. So we are inviting. We are not. It does not mean. I am very clear that it does not mean that we don't have any kind of political ideologies. We have individually our own ideologies, but what we have observed over a period of a few decades is that people are getting restricted to their own ideologies, to their own groups. Nobody is coming forward to discuss with the other side, with the other man, with the opponent. So we wanted to create a kind of platform where all kinds of thoughts can be freely discussed, and we can move away at the end of the session with a lot of pleasant exchanges. This is what we feel, and we must contribute to the growth of the society in this process. So this is the very purpose of the Center for Social Dialogue. Now I hand over the mic to Mr. Ram to continue the further proceedings. Thank you, Ram. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so welcome all. Another Saturday with Center for Social Dialogue. It's been so pleasure being associated with for over 2 years now. I think today we have a very interesting guest. Since, as they say, a lot of things happens over coffee. I think coffee, some around 17 years back, has introduced me and Bharath, and we still continues our coffee as our habit. And Bharath is a serial entrepreneur of a different kind. He believes in trying a lot, both by innovating and also trying to conceptualize. So Bharath, yeah, so here is Bharath. One of the large discussions that we as a very small team and a small entity, we have been talking about all bigger things and the next future of things, and maybe that could have been our strength for a long, because each of our days is more innovative than the previous. So in continuing to this, I think I had a discussion with Bharat that some of our thoughts which are largely universal in sense and sensibilities, and also as a source to think about what the future is all about for us. I believe the today's topic, especially which says the changing path, a parabola from jobs to works. It isn't as easy as it appears, and very interesting layers of thoughts that we had built in last 3-4 years. We used to call this somewhere in 2020, even before pandemic, we were calling ourselves something. There is a new normal about to come, and we are yet to decide on that. And some of the thoughts that we had collectively built together, I think today Bharath is the right guy to present it. He holds such a strong communication in expressing things. I think, welcome Bharath, welcome to Center for Social Dialogue. And the next 45 minutes is yours. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ram. Thanks, Raghu. So, as Ram was mentioning, we were always looking for something that can happen in the future, figure out what is actually causing the problem as such. One such thing which we were seriously pushing our teams even before pandemic was, can we really work in a different format? Is this the only format that exists for us to work? Do we need to be with so much of low productivity? Is there other ways of figuring out solutions? Because my friend Christian, who is also here, he works globally. He works with a lot of banks. He works with a lot of companies, but he doesn't work on a full-time job. I was always curious to look at people like this, see if there is other alternatives which can be brought into mainstream. So finally, COVID has gave us a lot of interesting opportunities to explore and waiting to see what happens. So in this process, we were looking at what is really causing all of this issues. What is really causing all these challenges? Is there any other side effects? Is there any alternatives that are happening? Do we need to consider this whole phenomena or the trend happening right now very seriously to find out future opportunities? So I've put together 4 or 5 slides about what is between jobs and work with whatever little experience that I have. This need not be right or wrong. I'm just trying to put together some of our observations, nothing more than that. So you're free to let me start presenting my screen. So you're free to ask me any question. You're free to stop me at any point in time.
We lost you in between, Bharath.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So I was looking at the whole etymology of these 2 words called job and work. I know for sure that work was the first thing that actually started more than a job. So that was redefined again. Work was a word which was put into the dictionary in somewhere around the 12th century, and job in the early 17th century as such. So we all know that we used to work. Work is purely defined as a physical activity where you do something and get out. And job for us right now has multiple definitions. You work for a paid employment. Okay. Even the word unemployment, I think somehow it started because of the word job itself. Okay. So I wanted to discuss 3 things. What actually brought this whole the situation where we are currently. So about prosperity, the productivity issues that are happening, and the whole problems as such. Okay. So for the last close to now 35 since 1985, there has been a rapid increase in terms of GDP from where we are about a $25 trillion global economy to where we are today about $100 trillion, and it is expected to grow into much bigger numbers in the near future. Okay. And there's also been, with the whole help of globalization, there's also been a lot of people have been uplifted from the poor to a middle class, which has been expanding rapidly. And you can see some of the stats available here as well. So there has been a significant increase in high income, upper middle class, and there's been a lot of people lifted up from the poor class as such. So this has actually created a lot of opportunities for everyone. Okay, whether jobs have moved from one country to another country, be it the manufacturing services, move to cheaper destinations or move to more resourceful destinations. All of this really helped uplifting people. Okay, so there has been a lot of prosperity that was around us. Okay, so which is enabling to take certain decisions as such. And in the last since 2010, there has been a drastic fall in the productivity of the countries itself. Okay, some of the emerging economies were able to do better because of its younger population, because of some of the resource skill sets that were available. But general as a global economy, the productivity has been going down. Okay. And people are opting for newer ways of dealing with this productivity issues. And one of such thing is adopting technology has been playing a very big role. And here we've listed down a few of the technologies that people, companies, countries were trying to adopt, starting from a cloud computing to a biotechnology to a e-commerce, artificial intelligence. There has been a significant increase in the adoption of some of these technologies to mainly enhance the productivity. So that was a common goal that most of the prosperous nations, countries were looking at. Now that has become a serious issue. Now every other country is looking at how can they increase productivity with all the challenges around. Okay. So what has actually led to all of this? There were a couple of trends that we saw, which was kind of interesting. One was definitely the aging population. Okay. So every other country, the average age across the globe has increased drastically. And there has been recently, there was an article which I've read, and it said probably in the next 5 to 10 years or 20 years, the senior citizen would be at 80 years, not 60 years anymore, because of our life, even the increase in life expectancy as such. Okay. So as we were aging, the number of people who can really work has decreased. So the amount of both the opportunities and also the number of people who can work on those opportunities have inversely been growing as such. Okay. So what this trend has brought us, there's more work to be done right now, but there are less number of people who can deliver those kinds of work. And say, for example, if you take a country like Japan, it is absolutely okay to have 2 or 3 jobs you can work simultaneously. And probably when we were kids, for our father, for them, the socio-economic standards were less in India. So they were forced to take up the jobs. So for their generation, it was like one career, one company for their entire life. It was like you join a company and you're there till your retirement. When it came to us, probably part of Generation X, we had an opportunity to move around companies, but we were still stuck to one career. Okay, if I'm an IT guy, I'm sticking to the IT career itself. If I'm a doctor, I stick to a doctor as a profession. But the new generation right now have a whole lot of freedom available to them, and they are ready and willing to explore a lot more opportunities. And they're looking at multiple careers. Probably they work 4 days as an engineer and probably another 2 days as a musician and do something else as an artist. So they have much more opportunities available and they are willing to take the risk as such. Okay. So this has created a problem to look for more opportunities. Okay. So if you really look at, there was this whole idea of moonlighting, which was killing the Indian IT for the last 3 months on the media. But I seriously disagree on that part, because as a country, we were more self-employed than a full-time job-oriented people as such. And thanks to SoftBank, thanks to gig economy revolution, so there have been more work economy that got created around the world, which gave them a lot of opportunities for people who doesn't have mainstream engineering, mainstream degrees, mainstream educational qualifications to come and join a full-time job. And here we've listed down a few reasons why is that people are looking at gig economy, because they have a lot of personal choices available. They have flexible schedules available. And some of the industries which are picking up the skills is in construction, entertainment, and probably to a certain extent, it is also grappling the IT industry. That is where this whole moonlighting as such issue is coming up. Okay. So these are a few thoughts that I wanted to present together in terms of what is actually making a shift between jobs and work. I'll quickly stop here for any questions.
You finish it off, then we'll have some questions.
Okay, fine. So we strongly believe if you need to be productive as a company, as a country, then you need to look at ways and means of getting it done. It doesn't really matter whether you get it done through a job, whether you get it done through a work. So there have been some of the very interesting trends that are happening during the COVID time, a lot of countries, few of the countries in the West Indies region, they've started attracting high-flying jobs, asking them to come sit in their country and then work. Recently, because of aging population, because of lesser opportunities, countries started enabling immigrants to come and work from their own country. Say, for example, Portugal has recently launched a regulation where they're inviting people with the minimum salaries come there and work for 4 days. So they're saying that, okay, instead of attracting employees, employers, let us attract employees, because they are going to be the trending ones because of lesser population, because of scarce resources. They are trying to attract more qualified people into their countries as such. I'll just leave my thoughts here, and probably I'll open to questions. Just to end, we are also one of a productivity enhancement company called Zero Code. So what do we do in Zero Coders? We enable anyone to start building digital solutions with our application. It's like a PowerPoint for software development. So you can do things very fast, at least 8 to 10 times faster, and you really don't need to get into the whole resource headaches as such. So which makes companies, businesses, and countries independent of skilled manpower as such. Whatever resources that you have, you can start building a digital GDP in your own country. So, for example, maybe a DRC Congo or a Mali really don't need to depend on India. They can still have, they have a younger population, they can train them and start building their own solutions as such. Okay. So how does it do? There are a bunch of tools available, just like a PowerPoint presentation. You start building them to create applications on web, Android, iOS, and you can deploy it across multiple sectors. It can be for government, it can be for private institutions, it can be on your revenue enhancements, or creating a better customer experience, or to reduce the overall costs as such. So that's quickly about our company. So let's embrace the change, and let's not resist in terms of the change that's happening. Let's embrace the change and see what are the opportunities coming to us as a company, as a country, or as individuals. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the wonderful insights, Bharath. As like everyone know, change is only constant, and we should go ahead with it. And it's like welly said and welly architected around the PPT. It's like through the process how we evolved right from 1960s, or like how we are going with the change. And at the end, it's like with the pandemic, it's a huge opportunity for everyone to accept the change and go ahead. Totally agree with you on all the points. And thanks for welcoming me to this forum also. It's like it's a good good to see that many people are sharing their thoughts across on multiple days and on multiple topics.
Thanks, Kishore.
Thanks, Bharath. It's a very new outlook what I have got today. And thanks for inviting me also on this platform.
Thank you.
But the only one query what I had is, see this aging population which you said, in the age of tech work, sitting in the work on the working on the computer, working on the mobile, aging population may not have that much on the productivity part. I will, because I see in our dealerships and everything also now. Accountants or technicians and everything. Now they work on with diagnostics with the computer and everything. Previously, they can work up to 50 years. Now they can easily go on up to 60, 65. Because the hard work which was there, it is coming down.
Yeah.
When the hard work is coming down, the age up to which they can work, it will get prolonged. That's what my view.
Yeah. So I absolutely buy to that point, and that's what I said. So this whole productivity is getting enhanced because of using a right technology, but still, because of aging population, there's a significant effect on the productivity as such for all the countries, which they're able to very clearly see now.
Yeah, then Dr. KVS appears to have raised his hand. Mr.
Okay.
Dr. KV.
Oh, thank you, sir. Mr. Bharath, thank you very much and have a good day. And you have given a very beautiful point and I appreciate. And I have got two small doubts, maybe related to your agenda or not, but it is very necessary for the people to know about that. Number one, you told job and work. Are they synonyms or sides of the same coin? And second one is, will the future is affected by disguised unemployment? Are we thinking about that or not? These are my two small points. I'll be thankful to you very much if you can tell something about this. Thank you very much.
Bharath, I request you to note down these areas of doubts and other things so that you can answer finally all together one point, or you can prefer to answer then and there itself, which is your choice, absolutely your choice.
Okay, sir. I would like to hear the questions and then probably answer them. Thank you for that, sir.
Okay, right. Then Mr. Ashwin appears to have raised his hand. Mr. Ashwin.
Yes. Hi, Bharat. Wonderful initiative, and this is something very unique, I would say. So in my view, when I say productivity, in my view, it has nothing to do with age. Purely personal thoughts. No offense here. Purely like, if we open up our mind to the new things happening around us, I think age is definitely not a barrier to seek interesting things, to do interesting things. Age is definitely not a barrier. So for example, I see at least in my surroundings in Bangalore, people make use of technology. If they don't develop technology, that's fine, but they make use of technology, make use of mobile apps, and now make some money out of that. So basically I see from that angle this apps or this platform of yours is going to be an immense helper or a booster for such kind of people. So I'm glad I was part of this session today, and I have more technical relevant questions. Not sure if I can take it up right now. Probably I can actually keep them to the last. Once everyone finishes with their questions, I could take them to the last instead of boring people with that such kind of questions. So let me know, Raghu sir.
Thank you very much, Ashwin. Now, Rangarao, Kasala Rangarao garu, he raised his hand. Kasala Rangarao garu.
Sir, Bharath Kumar Reddy's lecture is most stimulating and encouraging. So there is a comment that according to age, the productivity decreases. But if you observe Raghu Kumar and Ram Kishore, it is increasingly irreversible. It is what is that inversely proportional. As their age is increasing, they are becoming more mature and they are expanding their tentacles. So in that way, the aged people, mostly above 60, can do lot of work. Within 5 years or 10 years, they can achieve lot of things. So those things to be keep in mind, and they can chalk out their own plans and strategies, and they should give their impact on the society. It is my observation, and if time permits and Bharath Kumar permits, I will be in contact with him to clear my doubts and to start my own enterprises like that, to have a economic boost in support, in addition to the intellectual boost. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Rangarao Garu. Now I invite Mr. Vijay Kumar. He has raised his hand. Vijay Kumar.
Morning, Bharath. Very clear presentation. One thing I'm very happy is that you have raised the senior citizen age to 80 years. So if the government takes it, I will be still employed. So another point here is why that 60 to 80, talking about senior citizens, that is the age where people have retired at a peak level and still have that intellect which they can share, which is not happening. The intellect is getting waste. So I don't know how the new generation workers and all those companies, IT companies and all, they can actually use this kind of intellect. For example, an IAS officer, an IPS officer, IRS officer, they retire and the only thing they do is change diapers, go to US. They are getting the intellect, the amount of intellect in India, which is being wasted. I think a survey should be made. So much intellect is there. The governments, societies, organizations, all these people, you know, they can use their intellect as some sort of a pooling of that resources. That's very important, because when you raise the age to 80, 60 to 70 people, 60 to 80 people have to work. So I don't know how IT companies can use this kind of intellect also in terms of administration and everything. So that would be a very good point, wasting of intellect and again using that. Another thing I was looking at your presentation, why is that US self-employment is only 6%? 6.1.
So that was a stat.
Any specific reason, because such a developed country, self-employment is very less?
Maybe these are stats that are available based on, they would have calculated based on certain kinds of demographics as such. I can exactly find out what was that stat and I can let you know as well from that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay Kumar Garu. Inka evaranna hand raise chesi unnara? Lekapothe nenu just oka 2 minutes of intervention తీసుకుంటాను. నార్మల్గా నేను ఒక ఓల్డ్ మ్యాన్ కాబట్టి +63 కాబట్టి నేను కొన్ని ఓల్డ్ విషయాలు కూడా మీతో షేర్ చేసుకుంటాను. యాక్చువల్గా ఈ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్.
సారీ టు ఇంటరప్ట్, యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఓల్డ్. ఓకే, చెప్పాను 80 ఇయర్స్ వరకు మనం సీనియర్ సిటిజన్స్ కాదు. ఆయన ఆల్రెడీ
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
సో వి ఆర్ నాట్ ఓల్డ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
వి ఆర్ ఓన్లీ వైస్.
రైట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. అయితే ఈ రిటైర్మెంట్ ఏజ్ లేదా జాబ్ అండ్ వర్క్, ఈ డిస్టింక్షన్ ఉంది సార్. అది బిఫోర్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్ లేదు. పోస్ట్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్ మాత్రమే మీకు పర్టికులర్ జాబ్ పర్టికులర్ ఏజ్ దాకా పనిచేయడము, ఒక ఏజ్ లో రిటైర్ అవ్వడం అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ డెవలప్ అయింది. రెండోది సరదాగా కోట్ చేస్తున్నాను, నాట్ ఫర్ సీరియస్ డిస్కషన్. ఒకసారి మార్క్స్ ని మీరు మీ కమ్యూనిస్ట్ సొసైటీలో మనిషి ఎలా జీవిస్తాడు అని అడుగుతారు. అడిగితే ఆయన సమాధానం బాగుంటుంది. ఇన్ ఏ కమ్యూనిస్ట్ సొసైటీ where nobody has one exclusive sphere of activity, but each can become accomplished in any branch he wishes. Society regulates the general production and thus makes it possible for me to do one thing today and another thing tomorrow. To hunt in the morning, fish in the afternoon, rear cattle in the evening, criticize after dinner, and then just as I have my mind, without ever becoming a fisherman or anything. So a man can live in multiple lives. And a conceptual understanding of Marx. I am not here canvassing Marxist philosophy. But one thing, then the other thing is recently one film has come where I think Nitin is one young man who acted in that. He will not do any job. He will just get a job for that particular day. That's all. And he enjoys the life. And a question was, sorry, పని చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా అని. నేను ఐఎమ్ earning for this day and I am enjoying the time under. So it's a typical, అంటే సొసైటీలో మార్పు వస్తుంది. ఈ పోస్ట్ ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ సొసైటీలో వచ్చినటువంటి ఫిక్స్డ్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్, ఫిక్స్డ్ ఇన్కమ్, ఫిక్స్డ్ డేట్ ఆఫ్ రిటైర్మెంట్, ఇవన్నీ కూడా కాన్సెప్చువల్ గా పోతున్నాయి వరల్డ్ వైడ్ గా. అండ్ ఇట్స్ ఎ వెల్కమ్ ఫ్యూచర్. ది అదర్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఈస్ యూజింగ్ ది రిసోర్సెస్ ఆఫ్ ది పీపుల్. ఎందుకంటే పాతకాలంలో రిటైర్మెంట్ అనేది ఎప్పుడు లేదు కాన్సెప్ట్. People used to work till they are alive. So this is just my contribution to the discussion. Thank you very much, Bharath.
Thank you, sir. It looks like I've actually picked on a very wrong word called aging population, but that might not be applicable to a branch of people like this. We are always amazed and surprised by the kind of things that we can pick from somebody as experienced as yours. Not just people, but also countries have adopted looking at different things. Say, for example, I was just checking for the institution name. Germany has an institution which provides opportunities for all their retired senior citizens world over as consulting opportunities. They have a huge network which works. Even Government of India's Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has launched a platform called Sacred, which provides opportunities or what they call as re-employment opportunities for senior citizens. Because as Mr. Vijay Kumar said, you are a trove of wealth for us, and probably a trove of wealth for our future generations as well. And you are the Akshay Patras for us. So obviously there is, if it can be engaged in a right format, a right way, there is a tremendous potential that can be utilized. The very word of productivity has a definition, okay, which is why it has been said it is reducing. Okay. The amount of output a country can produce, on par with US, there is a standard definition that is available. That's the reason. Okay. So there was first question that was asked about jobs and work. I still think as an individual, as an entrepreneur, getting things done is what matters to me, matters to a country, matters to a government organization. It doesn't really matter whether I do it through a part-time or a full-time opportunity. Till the time that, as before the whole mankind invented agriculture, we used to be only work, just go hunt, eat, sleep. So after agriculture, we had so much of time, so we came up with all kinds of random things that are possible. Okay. So the second question was around unemployment. So right now, the whole employment market, majorly in the Europe and in the US.
Sorry, sir. I asked about the disguised unemployed, not about employed.
Okay.
Disguised unemployed.
What does that mean, sir? Disguised unemployment?
Because my father used to have 5 acres of land. He used to cultivate that and get 40 bags of rice. His 2 children also works on the same land, same amount of output they are getting. In planning future, in planning productivity, are we taking care of disguised unemployment like this or not? For example, I am 70 years old. Till yesterday, I worked in Byju's. I am highly paid in Byju's. So regarding age factors and all, that's material. Production is different from effective work. What we can deliver to the country and community is different from production. I am not thinking about the materialistic and tangible things, and we can train people who can produce so many things. In that way, aging problem and all we can take care of. But I am much bothered about disguised unemployment. I started some productivity company, and my children, my spouses work on that with the same production. In planning future, are we taking care of the disguised unemployment or not? That's what my small question. Thank you.
Okay, I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to answer that question. So I'll just pass on for a moment now, and probably I'll try to see if there is some information or research that I can find about this and get back to you on that. Okay, so there was Raghugar was mentioning about this whole Nitin movie, and there was some very interesting information that I also came to know about. So this is called the whole word is called the backpacker economy. Okay, so after COVID, Australia has suffered seriously because they closed their borders. I thought they would still have employment. Significant number of travel industry got affected because there are no people to work. How it works is they provide a visa where you can travel and also go and work on a part-time job. Wherever this whole Traveler's path was there. Even in the interior places, small hotels, small restaurants got affected because there are no backpackers right now, and there's nobody to work. They've literally shut it down. So the way either it is circling back or it is taking a different tangent, I don't know for sure. But the way things are happening are changing drastically. Now we have a lot more freedom to think. We are not constrained by, at least we don't have any lot of socio-economic pressures to do only one thing in life. We have possibilities for us to explore a lot more opportunities, and we know for sure that India would also age in next 30 years. So this might be a right time for us to explore interesting things.
Ram, where are you? రామ్ కిషోర్. మామూలుగా మేము లాయర్లం అండి, మాకు కోర్టులో అలవాటు అంటే 3 సార్లు పిలవడం. మూడోసారి పిలిస్తే ఇక రాకపోతే మేము అరెస్ట్ వారెంట్ లేకపోతే అడ్జోర్న్మెంట్ ఇచ్చేస్తాం కేసు.
No, someone has come here in the office, so there is something to be taken care. He has come with the entire family here. Please just give me 2 minutes.
I am coming to office within a few minutes, immediately after the session is over. No problem.
Yeah.
I take care of you.
I'll just put them in place. Thank you.
So I'll take 2 minutes, Rav Kumar Garu.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Bharath, very happy to have your concept made known to us. And incidentally, while clarifying, you said, as an entrepreneur, I'm interested in getting things done. Getting things done. How, when, where, by whom, I am not bothered. Do you want to say that? I am afraid if that is the policy of everybody, every government in the world, I think we may end up ultimately not in one wife, one husband, but many wives and many husbands. What's your reaction?
Bharath, I have to say one thing. I have to add one thing, that the person who spoke now and put a question to you is Professor V. Balmohan Das, former Vice Chancellor of Nagarjuna University.
75 plus.
Sir, when I say whether what we have seen as kids, what we are seeing right now is there is opportunity available, whether you want to utilize, not in a very materialistic sense. Okay. Why do a small country in Africa need to depend on India for IT?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we need to depend? Is it right now with all the geopolitical tensions that are happening around? Is it good or not? I'm not getting into that. Why do some countries need to stop certain countries doing the other things? Okay. Till the time and bagunte maatalu lekapothe raatalu annattu, why do you need to look at it in a very different sense? If there are people who are qualified enough to get things done, not about being cheaper, if there are people around who are qualified enough to get things done, provide them an opportunity, let them also get it done. It doesn't really matter. First, as an individual, it doesn't really matter if somebody works from Africa. I'm rather more happy if somebody works from Kyrgyzstan.
No, I will support your idea definitely, but not the total system as such. What you propose is a part of the total system. Wherever it is applicable, wherever it is possible,
Conditions apply.
Yes, conditions apply. But I am interested, I am a Gandhian. What are Gandhian values, the moral values that are to be taken care? Gandhi, I think he was an expert in all jobs. He was expert in all jobs. He was a scavenger. He was a gardener. He was a barber. Everything was, he was a cook. He was a printer. He was a writer. He was everything. So that way everyone has to be there. But definitely this concept of, I think, pattern of change is good, wherever it is applicable. But it cannot be taken to be the holistic approach of the entire world. That is what I only wanted to say, but definitely productivity would be more, incomes would be more in your concept, but applicable to some of the technology areas, but not uniformly for every activity. That is what I wanted to add.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also a firm believer that you introduce something, it doesn't work, it has to move on.
Yeah.
Okay, people can experiment, and then if it doesn't work.
Yeah. See, work from office has changed to work from home. Okay. From work from home also, and multiple people working in an office have also been as a separate entity has come. Now again, people are shifting to work from home to work from office. Things are happening.
బాలమోహన్ దాస్ గారు అంతకు ముందు స్లీప్ అట్ ఆఫీస్ కూడా ఉండదు ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్.
ఉండేదండి, ఎక్కువ అదే ఉండేది.
స్లీప్ అట్ ఆఫీస్.
Not in all jobs. But most of the jobs it was there, as you rightly said.
I think Christian has raised his hand. Christian, go ahead with your question and response.
Thank you. No, thank you. And I found this discussion extremely inspiring. And it's touching a lot of aspects, including the fact that I'm indeed working from Kyrgyzstan next week, Bharath. But one of the points that, and I subscribe to most of the concepts that were presented here. One of the things that I'm not clear yet, and this is not because of the discussion, but I'm just generally not clear. How do we incentivize skill building? Yeah? I like the idea that we can have work on different things, that we can migrate from one job to the other. But if I need a surgery, I'd still like to go to a doctor who has 20 years of experience and not somebody who just last week was driving a taxi. And how do we incentivize as an economy or as a society these skills? Yeah, that there's the next one who becomes a doctor, or the next one who builds a space telescope. How does a society incentivize those people to take on these jobs and not migrate from one to the other? Same thing with artists. Yeah. It takes 10,000 hours to become a good artist. How do we make sure that people dedicate that time to that? But I don't have an answer either yet. But I just know that I like to get to a doctor who has some skills.
Maybe on a lighter note, that's what Germans also thought. That's why they don't consider degrees from foreign universities as well. Okay, I think there are a lot of experienced people around, and they might have a better perspective of answering this question. I agree with Christian as well. I don't like to go and get the surgery done from somebody who did a coding last week.
And a part-time doctor.
More dangerous.
Your next topic would be skill versus experience.
Okay, no problem. Welcome. One of you can come forward.
Yeah, because now everything is about skill and experience. As Chris has told, I would go to a 20-year-old doctor, but one guy with 1-year-old experience guy, if is very skillful, we don't go. So, next topic could be that.
Sure.
I think incentivizing skill has been like a midday meal scheme happening around globe for a long time, and each time it has come only with a new name saying reskill, upskill, that skill, and this skill. As long as the people of the nation or the working community doesn't identify their strengths and make a career out of it, the skills are like the winds. They come, each clouds has its own season. So that happens to everything. So once agriculture was the base, then we moved to education, and then we moved to manufacturing, moved to government jobs. We later moved to IT. Now what? Now we are doing everything as the other just reference we got through. So I believe that we need to learn skills, but we fail or we gone blind in identifying our strengths. We don't have writers, we don't have painters, we don't have poets, we don't have politicians. Yeah, so these are also the jobs. These are also the works. So I think incentivizing. I think we have incentivized every other thing. So I think Balmohan's question, I think it's quite interesting. That's very personal one, but I'm not sure to be told here or not. I think I'll give a call to you.
ఇంకా చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. ముక్తేశ్వర్ గారు ఉన్నారు. వై టుడే ఇంటరాక్టివ్ సెషన్ ఈజ్ ఓన్లీ హ్యాపెనింగ్ బిట్వీన్ ది Bharath Kumar and his friends.
Yeah, Mukteshwar garu, Prasuna, Ravi Kiran,
Prakash Rao is there. Prakash, many people are there. And Patanjali garu.
So to contrary to what is happening till now or what is discussed till now, there is another parallel topic happening across the world, like financially independent and retire early kind of thing. So there are like two parallel lines happening. So right now we still discuss like what people are capable of, what is the change that we need to come up, and what some sort of the countries are happening. But what is your stake on getting financially independent and retiring early kind of thing? People are trying to retire at 35 or like 40, whatever it is, whenever they feel. So that's also another sort of culture we are seeing across the world.
So I think Christian can throw.
Yeah.
One thing also must be, Bharath, you must clarify me. Recently, I read a newspaper where it reported that about 10,000 youngsters have taken sannyas ashrama in the last year. I don't know, because I cannot understand the youth mind of the young man, but you can throw some light on me. It was the report about a few months back. It has come in the newspapers.
There is
Kumar, you have to check up what is sannyas ashrama.
But virtually, they have become sannyasins, was the news that has come. They have become saints. They have relinquished the material activity. This is what the newspaper has said about few months back. The figure relates to 2021.
Oh.
There. Christian, how to retire early through a bank scheme?
If you don't have big wishes and if you have rich parents, it's got much easier. Yeah? No, but it's the question though is that I sometimes ask myself, and this I might be not the common sense. What do you mean by retirement? Yeah. Do you want to? Is retirement equal to stop thinking? Or is retirement, because as we did before, there's a lot of skills that you have even at the age, at an older age, that can be useful. Is retiring just a migration towards less intense work, or is there an ability to do what you do as a retiree and generate still some returns for you? Yeah? Because you have some skills, or you even volunteer your skills as a retiree to contribute to your community, yeah? In ways that you give back because you have received certain support. So I'm not sure what I think it results from general dissatisfaction with your overall work, that you're striving to have a situation where you don't have to wake up and go to work as retirement. And this is at least what I see. Born and raised in Germany, I see this as the aspiration of many of the generation ahead of mine, that they were striving for retirement simply because they didn't like their work, because they saw their work only as a way to generate revenues to make ends meet. Huh? But as we're migrating in this whole discussion towards doing something that is fulfilling from very early on, or testing things that could be fulfilling from very early on, the retirement questions probably is something that we need to address next. I mean, aside from the fact that unfortunately many of those gig jobs will not allow you to retire, or will not allow you to contribute to Social Security to afford retirement. But I think it's
it's a redefinition of things as well. I do not see myself retiring in the sense that I stop thinking. Yeah, I do see myself retiring in the sense that I live from a different place and maybe have a decent breakfast and do some sports before I start working for a couple of hours. That's for me the aspiration. I could do that until the end of the days. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes. Retirement is from the location, not from the work. Good.
Yes,
Yeah,
and the major thing what he said is like retirement is not stopping thinking. Yeah.
yeah. Amar, you had a question. Please go ahead. Mukteshwar Rao garu, you have any question, please?
No, I don't have a question. I thought of sharing that about people moving towards sannyasa ashrams. I see, I see these guys are far from home and working there. They are joining their respective industries with a lot of hopes, passions, and goals, something like that. But they become uh, it become routine and too much pressures, mental tensions and pressures happening over, in every industry. So they get some kind of aversion, a dislike towards what they're doing, how they're doing the routine life, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. work. I felt that's because of the diversion, they're moving towards sannyasa ashrams, I believe.
Amar is my engineering classmate. So he's also averse with his job a lot, and he's qualified enough to answer this question.
Good.
Especially, I feel the generation who are joining jobs nowadays, they don't have much interaction with their elders. They are not into games and play anything. They don't know how to control their emotion. They don't know how to mingle with people. I'm seeing so many people. I have almost 18 years, of course, me and brother to work together. So 18 years of experience. And I see many people who are joining offices. So that kind of earlier, if we get any issue or any problem, we used to have a close bonding between the parents or grandparents or uncles, cousins, and everyone. But nowadays, people I see, whoever joining, they don't have that close relation with anyone. They don't have any mentor to suggest them as well. They don't even know how to approach them as well. So it's a big challenge even for managers like me to handle those guys at offices.
Yeah, thank you, Amar. Nice to know the interpretation of what exactly is going on. Yeah, so I would like to others, please have your question, please unmute and go ahead and share your thoughts. This is a platform for a dialogue, and yeah, Dr. KVS has a question.
Sir, it's not a question. I got a personal feeling, financial or economic self-sufficiency and productivity. Productivity, we have to think broad way, that is national wise. Economical self-sufficiency belongs to individual. If we combine them, problem comes. And the second one is, even Vivekananda was a saint, but he contributed a lot. Becoming a saint may not matter a lot, I think so, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, point noted. Usha Garu, Patanjali Garu, please. Prakash, you have anything? R. Krishnamurthy, please. Go ahead, share your thoughts.
Otherwise, to be in tune with our Center for Social Dialogue, we'll close the session if people are not voluntarily coming forward to have continue the dialogue.
Bharath garu, I think he has thrown in some interesting and thought-provoking inputs. Okay, thank you for that. Only thing is, as one of the gentlemen have pointed out, we are seeing on one side people crossing 60, going up to 70 also with the same vigor and all, though financial requirement is not there because they want to contribute something from that side. And the other side, we are having people who are stopping their employment or this one coming out of this regular services at the 40s and before 50 only. Okay. And whether we can have a channelized utilization of these resources. Of course, they are doing individually, everybody is doing in their own way. Whether there is any possibility to have a channel for utilizing their services or giving them, because they may be having energy and this one, but may not be knowing how to go about it. So for that, any channels are there, means that would be better for the community, particularly community service also, maybe with lesser pay. That may be one of the employment opportunities in the future. Okay, thank you.
People are already working on this. As I said, the government of India has launched a platform. One of my friends is working on something called a senior experts. People see that there are a lot of people, companies and entrepreneurs are looking at this as one big potential opportunity to which also has both social and economic dimensions attached to it. It has just started. I think we can see a lot more platforms coming up, just like Swiggy and Uber. We would have platforms as we move forward.
Bharath, can you request your friend who is working there, the analyst there, to come up and explain in the next few sessions, one of the sessions, so that people get benefited, because the sacred, which you mentioned, Government of India, Department of Social Justice, started only in December 2021.
Exactly.
It has not come public, do not know what is there. I think that scheme would be better if many of us can be taken in there.
So I would call the guy who's been working on the senior experts. He's the one who introduced me to this also. He's also a senior guy.
Yeah. That would be fine. I think all the people, retired people in CSD would be happy to hear him.
Sure. And probably he might also would be more than happy to work with all of you as well.
Yeah.
Ram.
I have an interesting occasion here related to productivity. I think the automation and robotization, when hit Chinese production manufacturing units, slowly the people started getting replaced with robotics, and each guy who has been put out of the job because of the impact of robotization was paid an amount that is equal to his lifetime earnings, that if he could have worked in the same job forever. And this is not that. This guy goes out of the job, so he spends his money, leaves his time, whatever possible, and when he comes back again for the job after his depleting finances, the first question will be asked in the new company is that what he has actually done with that money, and based on that his productivity is actually calculated. Say what you got isn't actually coming back into the system as a value. I don't think so. So he will earn that employment again. So that's I'm trying to draw the line is somewhere. I think before we close this, I think I would like to draw. So now the choices of productivity is being with either employment or entrepreneurship. It's a very thin line, but I always call entrepreneurship as the new employment. This is what it's happening around, at least for the time being. Maybe this is a season. That's it. Yes, sir. That's my point.
The next section could be utilize seniors' expertise for nation building and social justice.
Vijay Kumar ji, if we know the information about the topic and the speaker, we can accommodate it, because normally what we are doing is we are fixing the programs for about 1 month or something like that in advance.
Okay, sir.
So kindly give us the name and the topic the person wants to speak, so that we can accommodate at the earliest. Sometimes what happens is a speaker which we normally fix in advance, maybe saying for some reason that he's unavailable. Then we have to use other resources. So please kindly, whoever wants to talk about certain topics, let them give it to Ram Kishore. Ram Kishore will summarize the whole thing.
Yeah, that will.
Thank you.